So here we go, this is the Sky Garden in London. It's sort of just around in the city area of London, and you can come up here for free if you book. And currently you don't even have to book far in advance. It used to be you had to book a few weeks in advance, but I actually booked to come up here yesterday. It's free to get in. You need a COVID passport, and obviously you need to bring the ticket. And they'll x-ray all your bags and everything, and you know, it's just like an airport. The actual building is the Walkie-Talkie Building, also known as 20 Fenchurch Street, which is fairly easy to get to. I mean, I just walked down from St Paul's, so it's a sort of on a sort of angle, so it's like the top two levels, which you'll find out as we move around a bit. So at this level, this sort of sticks out. There's the restaurant there, and then there's this little level you arrive at, and you can go outside, which is really handy if you hold your camera up high enough to see over the sort of barrier there, which you can see in a different colour, because then you're not shooting through glass, which really helps. And this is why it's called the Sky Garden. And it's a very pleasant place to be. I'm here because the forecast yesterday guaranteed blue skies for this time of day. As you can see, they had the usual kind of reliability you get from forecasts for like about 12 hours in advance, no, maybe a bit more, maybe 18 hours. If you look outside, you can see this is looking sort of generally east. The River Thames is sort of meandering its way there. You can see the buildings of Canary Wharf sort of straight ahead, which is where they started building after London got a bit full, because there are the very limits about building high buildings here. You can only build them in a very small area, because there are protected views of St Paul's Cathedral. So there's some nice vegetation up here. There's also a watering system you have to pay a little bit of attention to, but we'll just sort of meander on round. So I'd have thought by the time you got up here you'd have worked that bit out, by the way. Right, so here we go. So if you see that little train down there, sort of heading towards us, that's a Dockland Light Railway train, which is how the railway goes off into the Docklands and Canary Wharf and everywhere. It's sort of different to the tube trains and the ordinary sort of railway style trains you get in London. So also because it's driven by computers, you can sit at the very front looking out the front of it as it drives along, which is kind of cool. Still not great visibility. Right, anyway, we'll do the other bit when we come around the other side. So now we're looking sort of north into the various bits of the city. We'll be able to see more as we move around. As you can see, they're building away within the sort of limited area they're allowed to. So let's get up a bit. I hope they're doing some careful work on how all the sort of wind flow does around this. Actually, this building, the Walkie-Talkie, is famous for a slight design mistake, because the other side of the building is curved, and they subsequently discovered at just the right time of year it would actually act like a sort of mirror inside a reflecting telescope and concentrate all the light at a particular point of the ground and burn things. So if you ever look at the south side of this building, you can see it's got all these horizontal blinds sticking out of it to stop the light actually doing that. So this over here is, well, there is the west side of the building, and that's the sort of other side going down, with the living up to its Sky Garden name. So right, it's just there's the Thames heading upstream. If you look sort of in the middle there, there's St Paul's Cathedral, and the tall thing behind it with the purple lights at the top is the BT Tower. The building, well, you can't really tell, but the building in front of St Paul's, as we look at it, slightly to the right, well actually all of it really, is One New Change, which is a shopping centre, and you certainly used to be able to go up on the roof there to look across to St Paul's, but I haven't seen anyone up there for a while. I also not sure you can go up to the top of St Paul's, because you used to be able to go right up the top before, and I haven't seen anybody up there for a while, so I don't think they're allowing that. Let's carry onwards. Oh dear, this is a bit where I try and avoid falling over. If you look at the thin bridge there, that's the Millennium Footbridge, which leads across to Tate Modern, which is sort of brick building with a tower, which is now an art gallery and used to be a power station. And sort of, you go up above the tower, you can just about see. Actually, I'll go up a bit. The London Eye, sort of more or less in the centre again. There's Charing Cross railway station in the distance, which is 3 bridges further down. So carry on meandering. You can see they've, I don't know if you can see, they're working at putting grass and greenery on top of a number of the buildings to help the environment, but it's winter at the moment, so it doesn't necessarily grow as well as it might at the rest of the year. You can see the other side of the restaurant there. Well, 2 layers of restaurant, I suppose. So, oh dear. So, trying to avoid getting in too many people's photographs. So coming down to the lower level, and there's a bar at the top level, but it's not staffed at the moment. There's a more impressive bar down here. I suspect you won't necessarily enjoy the prices, but it's just the way it goes with things like this. Oh, there's a bit of traffic jam over there. So carry on meandering. It's been much more exciting if I fall over for you guys, but not so much for me. So this is the level you start at, which is the 35th floor. So I apologise for the speech, but I'm working with a mask. So here we're going outside, and now you've got the fun thing of trying to work out which side of a camera people are taking photographs out of, so you don't walk through their shot. So I mean, here it says what's sort of over there, but they're a long way away. I mean, it's the London Eye in the distance and the South Bank, and it says the IMHO building, and I can't see the IMHO building. I'm really struggling with that. So maybe they've got sort of X-ray vision or something. Oh no, I can see it in the distance. Wow, that's teeny. I mean, there's no way you'd see that on a wide-angle lens. It's incredibly far away. Wow. If you see the parked boats in the middle of the river, it's opposite, about halfway down there on the South Bank, which is the other side, but you won't see it at this level. So you can see life going on down below. I really should have put this on its sort of selfie stick pole thing to get over the top of this, but actually I think you will need a selfie stick, because they seem to have replaced this with higher glass than it had last time I was here. Looking across here, the grey ship is HMS Belfast, which is a World War II vintage light cruiser that's now a museum. Off the sort of aft end of that, and sort of diagonally across, is the building that used to be where London was governed from, but they got fed up paying the large rent for that, so they've moved out now and they've gone down the way east where it's cheaper. I'll move along here a bit. The Shard, a handy push pin for London Bridge Station, which is what all that stuff in front of it is. It's all the platforms and everything at the station. That's London Bridge down there, which is one of the most uninspiring bridges ever. So somebody actually bought the old one, which was just as exciting as this one. I mean, you go back a few hundred years, there was a fabulous London Bridge which had sort of building houses on it and everything. And that's the one you want to see photographs of. I mean, obviously there's Tower Bridge, plus in the middle of it. Just a meander away up here. Oh, there's a reasonable number of people up here. Oops, sorry. Thank you. Of course, that's the problem with people speaking other languages. You never have an idea if anybody might be saying something rude or not. Kind of hope not. Right, so anyway, Tower Bridge round to the Shard. We'll just meander onwards and see if we can find a space at the end. I mean, the visibility is not great. I'm definitely unhappy about the lack of blue skies, but you can't win them all. Right. This is going to be complicated.
This area in front, that's where the poppies were.
Right, so I don't know if you can hear me from this distance, but that's the Tower of London down there.
Was that?
And we're sort of looking east again. So, and that's basically the view from the Sky Garden. Move inside. And we started up there on that little platform at sort of the mid-level, so the end of the walkway and the entrance to the restaurant. See these little places you can stop up here. Not sure you necessarily need a blanket inside, but so there you go. Instant tour of the Sky Garden in London. Well worth a visit.